Hello, this is Liz Lawless, your host for Wild West Diversity, where we tell the rarely and untold stories of multicultural contributions to the settling of the American Wild West. Each Thursday at 5 p.m. Central Standard Time, we'll be sharing a historical legend and a living legend. Someone from history and someone living that Western lifestyle today, keeping it alive for the future generation. We hope you'll join us on Thursday. If not, we'll see you on the trail. Hello, this is Liz Lawless, your host for Wild West Diversity, and today we're going to be talking about ride 'em wear. We're going to be talking about Western wear and casual wear for cowboys and cowgirls, and we may even get into some additional sporting activities before it's all over with. But I'm just delighted here to have my friend Terry Wells. Terry's the founder of Ride 'em Wear, and we're going to get him to come on and tell us a little bit about how he got in the Western wear business and where this all came from. How you doing today, Terry?
I'm doing good. It's a blessed day.
Great. So were you kind of always a cowboy, or did you kind of come to that a little bit later in life?
Well, my uncles was cowboys and grandfather. So
Right.
I come from a history of ranchers.
Yeah.
And I didn't really get into it. It wasn't my thing for a while until I turned probably about 20, 28.
Uh-huh.
And me and my wife, we bought a little small ranch and we brung in the horses. And long and behold, the love just kicked in.
Right. And a lot of times that's how it starts for people is horses. You know, Cleo, the thing about it for Cleo, it was about the horses. He just loved and wanted to be around the horses,
Right.
so even as a little boy. So that's interesting. It's great. Well, where did the idea for the ride and wear, the store and the clothing and all of that come from? Was it you couldn't find stuff that you liked, or was it something else?
Well, it just the whole rhythm concept came from when I bought my first ranch. They it was in the middle of nowhere, and then
Right.
they built like grocery stores and all that stuff around us, right?
Okay.
And I still we had trails adjacent to the property that we could still ride through town.
Uh-huh.
And I used to just ride through town, and people used to yell out the window, ride them, and that's how it all came about,
Yeah, right.
and spending time in boot barn, not liking what I seen and wanting to just, I've always been a fashion guy. I used to model in high school, and
Oh, okay.
I just wanted
Okay.
to develop. I wanted to start my own brand.
There you go. There you
Yeah,
go. Okay, great. So where did you actually start? Did you start with a store? Did you start online or?
I started pretty much just when I first started. It was just going to rodeos. I used to
Okay.
go to all the PRCA rodeos,
Right.
and
Right.
that's where I started. Just going to rodeos, and
Uh-huh.
then I said to myself, "Oh, hey, you know what? Let me start going from state to state." So I
Yeah.
started going to state because I wanted to know if I had something that you know people would buy.
People would
So
buy,
I
yeah, in
started
other
following
places.
the
Yeah.
rodeo circus. I toured all the circuits from
Right.
the black rodeos to the all the PRCA rodeos and the Native
Yeah.
American Indian rodeos and the Hispanic rodeos. So I just took my time going to each rodeo.
Right. Okay. Yeah, and you found an audience, didn't you?
I did.
People really liked what you had, and they liked your brand and your theme and all of that too, didn't they? So tell us what the theme is.
Well, the theme is don't climb in the saddle if you're not ready for the ride. That's it.
There you go.
You have to be ready. No doubt.
Right. Yeah. No matter what your sport is, doesn't matter if it's bull riding or bareback or calf roping
Exactly.
or
And
even show horses,
and
and thoroughbreds, any kind of riding,
right.
like you say, you got to be prepared
Yeah.
to win.
And not only that, when I came up with the ride and wear, I thought about other brands, and people love to express their love for the hobby that they're in,
Right.
and how they compete. So the
Yeah.
whole ride and wear, where the eye can change to bull riding, roping, barrel racing, dressage, hunter jump, it can keep changing to all the things that you ride. So
Right.
the ride and wear is good because that lasso man can just keep changing to the things that you ride, and it allows people to express their hobby and what they love.
Right. Yeah, because like you say, everybody's a little bit different. Everybody likes
Exactly.
something a little different. Everybody likes it the kind of a different color,
Right.
and all of that kind of stuff. Okay, so you've got casual wear and regular, Western wear like you'd see in a normal cowboy type shop.
Yeah, I it's mostly sportswear because
Uh
I
huh.
about 9 years ago I changed it over to a sportswear.
Uh huh.
Because the younger generation,
Yeah.
they're wearing ball caps, t-shirts, and boots. So I
Right.
started going with like a more sportier type of a look.
Right. Yeah, for sure, for sure. So no question. We kind of got the same thing, and it's their that next generation is a little bit different
They are.
than we are,
Hey,
but
hey, my very own kids went from cowboy boots to Air Jordans.
right. Yeah, for sure. So anyway, so are you're selling through the website? So the website's rideandwear.com. So people can go there and they can see all your different products and things like that, and they can buy online. And are you going back out now, or is COVID did that kind of
Well, yeah,
close down?
COVID changed things, and when COVID hit, I decided to just open up another location here in Southern Oregon.
Oh,
So
okay.
that's where I'm at now.
Right.
I'm in the store right now,
In the store,
and,
yeah.
and yeah, it's going well. And I just modified some things and built a food court in the back.
Oh
So
wow.
in
Uh-huh.
the back is called the backyard, and
Uh-huh.
we do a lot of live bands back there. We do
Right. The
you know,
music and stuff, yeah.
country music. We do 9-piece bands, comedy
Oh,
shows,
oh, great.
business mixers,
Uh-huh.
things like that.
Okay, wow. Okay, well, that's great. Well, our friend Tyrus, I don't know if you met Tyrus. He was one of our sponsors at Ford for a while,
Right.
and
Yeah, I
then
did meet him.
he's got a Crazy Brothers barbecue. He's got two
Well,
brothers, and so they about 4 years ago they opened up a barbecue place.
right.
And so anyway, but they would always come, they'd be coming, showing up, at the rodeo or horse thing or at the bar, and everybody go, here come those Crazy Brothers, and so that's
Yeah.
why their thing is called Crazy Brother Barbecue, but
Yeah. One thing leads to another. Even with my kids, the place we have now, we don't call it Ride 'em Where, we call it the backyard.
right.
And all my kids, they all have their own private label clothing line.
Oh
They're
yeah.
they're doing their thing. So you can walk in this store and it goes from uh, from old school. My daughter's brand is called Old School Love. My
Uh-huh.
son is Divine World, and my other son is called Get Right Outfitter. So you can come in here and go from skating to urban wear to
Uh-huh.
workout gear to cowboy gear. So
Right.
it's like a mom and pop department store, really.
Right. Old
Yeah,
old time department store. Yeah,
yeah,
where you can
exactly.
get everything. Yeah, that's great. That's great. Well, because that's it. So you started basically in the horse industry, didn't you? And then you kind of expanded out to these other sports, right? So,
Exactly. Yeah. So that the eye just keep changing to all the things that you ride, from skateboarding to motocross to BMX to cycling, you name
right.
it. Just we ride, we all ride something.
We all ride something. That's
Right.
right. That's it for sure. For sure. So, so did you? So you say you got your store there? Do you have some other stores, or you just sell to other stores in other parts of the
Yeah.
country?
I had two in Southern California,
Uh huh.
and those pretty much got shut down when I moved here, and
Right.
it's a rebuild. That's what I'm doing. It's just I'm one of
Right.
those guys that get kind of bored, and I'm always up for the challenge,
Yeah.
and I came here to make some waves.
There you go. There you go. Well, tell us a little bit. Where did the logo come from? Because I know that's kind of a special thing too, isn't it?
Yeah, the logo came from at one point in time. Well, I think it was in 2005.
Uh huh.
It was on my son's birthday. We went out uh, to a party and we stopped at a garage sale,
Uh huh.
and there was an Indian guy that had gangrene in his body.
Oh
He
wow.
wasn't there, but his family was selling everything,
Yeah.
and I was like, and they didn't want to get rid of his horses or anything like that. That wasn't
Right.
for sale, and I was inquiring about the horses. So I told the family, I said, I tell you what, hey, I'll take care of the horses and the mules. Just bring them over to my place, and I'll just take care of all his Western
Yeah.
stuff that he
Stuff.
has.
Uh-huh.
Everything he has that got to do with horses, all his true love and his passion came to my house. And
Right.
I had a tool barn that
Uh-huh.
I put all this stuff in, and long and behold, he got better. And
Oh,
but they
good.
sold the property that he was in, so he wasn't able to have horses at his new place.
Right.
So
Yeah.
he kept his horses at my place. And
Okay.
he was a welder, and he started making me like horseshoe cowboys,
Oh, okay.
and
Yeah.
if going back to when I used to ride in the city, people used to yell out the car, ride them. And I
Uh-huh.
remember coming home, sitting at a bench, and that lasso horseshoe cowboy that he made of horseshoes was sitting
Uh-huh.
right there at the table, and I just wrote the word ride them and slid the horseshoe right there in front of the eye, and that's where it
For the
started.
there you go. There you go. That's great. That's great. Well, I like that, and I think, like you say, everybody sees that, and immediately they know it's Terry's company.
Right.
They know it's your stuff, and it's like you say, it's that casual wear and cowboy casual, and then like you say, now going into all these other sports, that's really exciting kind of thing. Do you think you're going to try to expand out to some other stores, or are you just going to kind of maintain there and
Yeah.
sell
Well,
what you got?
the ultimate goal is to build a ride 'em world store,
Oh, okay.
based
Uh-huh.
like a Cabela's or something like that, or
Right.
a Bass
Yep.
Pro Shop. And when you
Uh-huh.
walk into that store, you know how like Bass Pro Shop is broken up in different areas.
Right. It's got different.
Camping, hunting, you
Yep.
know,
Uh-huh.
mountain bikes, fishing, different things like that. So the ride 'em world, when you walk into this store, you will it will be broken up in different things: skateboard, motocross, the
Right.
equestrian world, all that stuff. So where I am now is like a small mini concept of where I'm going. So
Right.
I have
That makes sense.
the skateboard stuff here, the motocross, the equine, the
Uh-huh.
cycling, all that stuff is here, and then I
Uh-huh.
have food available. And the ultimate goal is to have a good sized building to where we can have all the different things that you ride. Not only the clothes, I'm talking about ride 'em saddles, ride 'em skateboards, ride
Right.
'em
Right.
bicycles, and things like that. And also have
Uh-huh.
a backyard. In the
Uh-huh.
backyard, it'd be like a horse arena, a skateboard park,
Right.
motorcycle track, different things like that. So
Yeah, great.
it's like an amusement park.
Right.
The
Yeah.
family can
Fabulous.
come, and every family somebody rides something. Everybody may not ride horses. You
Right.
may have a family where the dad ride horses, the son ride motocross,
Right.
the sister ride skateboards or whatnot. So when they
Right.
come
Yeah.
into this Ride and World store, they can all break off, find what they love,
Find what
purchase
they
what they
love.
love, get some food,
Yep.
and actually go in the backyard and play.
Right, right. That's great. That's a great concept. Well, for those of us who are watching or listening, it's this is we're talking with Terry Wells here at Ride and Wear. I'm going to spell that because then we pull this down as a podcast and it goes out. So if somebody's not watching, they won't see that tag across the bottom. But it's RIDEEMWEAR.com. So rideandwear.com. You can check out Terry's inventory there. And be sure to go out and see what all he's got as far as riding them and all the different things there. Um, the other thing we like to do, Terry, too, is kind of talk about sometimes the struggles and then the things that surprised you.
Right.
What were some maybe one of the bigger obstacles that you had to overcome?
Well, I think some of the obstacles that I had to overcome was just, you know, really my mission with Ride and Wear is to bring unity to
Yeah,
all the nationalities in the Western culture.
right.
That's why I spent time going to the Native American Indian rodeos,
Right.
the
Hispanic
Hispanic
rodeo,
rodeos, the
black.
PRCA rodeos, the black
Yeah,
rodeos. And what I found is that, when you go to a black rodeo, 95% of the people there are black. And when you
right.
go to a Hispanic rodeo, it's the same thing, and so
Yeah,
on and so forth. So
yeah,
my vision is to make it more diverse and to
right,
take this brand and sponsor people. It won't be based off the color of your skin. It'll be
right,
based on how good you are. I don't care if you're Chinese or whatever
right,
color you are.
right.
You know
Yep.
what? That's the whole deal. And until we get that done, and the
Yeah,
same thing with the rodeos. I
yeah.
One of the things that I didn't like about rodeos, and I'm gonna say that we'll take building unity in the black rodeos.
Right.
What I experienced is that every black rodeo had their own individual rodeo and they had their own individual finals.
Right.
And my what I wanted to see
Your vision
was
was,
all these guys working together and
yeah.
having a national finals, just like the PBR. I mean, just like
Right,
the
the
AFR.
PBR, the PRCA,
Yeah,
yeah, just
exactly.
like her, the IBRA, yeah.
And we'll never grow in this realm until we learn to work together and
Right,
grow together and build together. And
yeah,
stop doing it separate and do it together.
right, right. Yeah, I think you're absolutely right about that too, for sure. And part of it is, I guess a little bit of it is, it's somewhat hard to travel. I mean, we've always had people, we always did a Southwest tour and did Texas and Oklahoma because
Right.
once you get outside of that and you start talking about taking horses and trailers and 100 cowboy, 100 people,
Right.
that's not so easy to go to Florida and do
Right.
because they don't have the same stock down there. They don't
Exactly.
have the same cowboys and some of those kinds of things. And so, that was always our difficulty. And we were always trying to, figure out, well, what could we do and how could we do? But when it starts doubling and tripling your expenses
Right.
too, then that's the problem. That's the obstacle. It's finances or finding the sponsors to help you make that happen. And you got to find those sponsors at a bigger level, to do something like that for sure. So,
Yeah, and that's why I believe in what I see. And one
yeah,
day Ride and Wear is going to be a national brand. And
right.
then when it
Yeah,
comes down to sponsorship money and different things like that, I'll be able to put in and make that happen.
right, right. Well, what surprised you about getting into the business? Was it that were you pretty much able to get the product and stuff like that, or did you have, or was it the people, or what was the most surprising thing for
Well,
you?
the you money,
Oh,
having the money, but it's one of them things where when I first started out, I started out with T-shirts and
yeah,
just T-shirts only, and then just buying blank T-shirts and having somebody print on the shirts.
right,
So that didn't work out well because print to get things printed, it can cost. I mean,
right,
each way at your profit.
right.
So
It's
I
not,
had to I had to teach myself how to do graphic designs. I had to teach myself how to silk
yeah,
screen, do embroidery, and then build tech packs so I can start dealing with
right,
manufacturers
yeah,
outside the country.
right,
Because I mean nowadays everything is coming from another country.
right. Somewhere
I
else, yeah.
remember when Wrangler used to pride themselves on made in the USA, and
That's right. Yeah, they made them
you
over
can
in plants over in El Paso, I think.
yeah
That big plant over in El Paso and a couple other places. Yeah, for
yeah
sure.
yeah. So now it's Indonesia, China, Pakistan. It's all over the place. So
Right,
it's hard because you want to do business here in the United States. So what I do is on my button-up shirts and stuff like that. What I do is I bring in the fabric
right,
and I have it assembled here in the USA.
right,
The product don't come from here, but it's made here. I send it to a cut and sew house, and they put
right.
it together that way here in the United States.
Yeah, yeah. That's great. That's great. Well, and that is, and then like you say, I mean, obviously COVID's turned us upside down because at 25%, that's called
Right.
bankruptcy in the rodeo business,
Exactly.
and so I can see that. Did you get held up as far as your product and deliveries and things like that, or is it kind of evening out a little bit for you?
Well, I make a lot of the stuff myself.
Yeah,
So
since you're doing your own stuff, yeah,
that helps out a lot when I do my own embroidery. I do my
right,
own silk screening, and I
uh
build my
huh,
own tech packs. And I've got to the point where I'm self sufficient, where I don't have to rely on people doing graphic designs for me.
oh
Because bottom line is when you want a graphic designer and
yeah,
he's not from the Western culture, and you're trying to feed him ideas from your head, he don't get it.
right,
He don't get it. So I
yeah,
had to learn how to do graphic designs myself so I
yeah,
can relay what's inside of my brain to the people
to
that makes
somebody
sense
else,
to the
yeah.
cowboys and anybody that's in the equine world.
Right. Right. Exactly. Well, my other life is publishing. I do book publishing, and I've got an artist, an illustrator in Turkey.
Right,
But sometimes I have to explain. I have to write out an extra sentence or two to kind of
right,
explain what's going on, or I have to send a photo of something. So because she doesn't always understand because English isn't her first language, and even though she writes English pretty well, she can't speak English. So we don't talk on the phone. We just text and email and face chat or FaceTime or whatever. But but you do, you like you say, you work. These are the things you work around when you're an entrepreneur.
right.
When you're in business for yourself, the things come up and you just figure out a way.
Yeah, and we have to realize that when we die, all that we have done will still live.
Right? Yeah.
So what's your legacy? What are you gonna leave behind?
Yeah.
And once we learn how to operate in the spirit, because we're all spiritual beings, and
Yeah.
once we get that we're all spirits, we can operate the spirit and we can grow faster and build faster and unite people together on a larger scale.
Yeah, I think so. Well, I think that's it's a great mission, it's a great vision, and you have to have people with vision. We have to have people like Terry that have vision. So if you're watching or you're listening today and you've got a vision, whatever that vision is, if you want to be involved somehow in a Western lifestyle, whether it's clothing or rodeo or horse training or showing horses or thoroughbred, it doesn't matter what it is, have that vision and then set some goals and set some intentions and go out and just take some action and make
That's
it
right.
happen. Right? Because,
Right. Make it happen.
yeah.
Hey, hey, quit keeping it going and get it started.
That's it. Well, it's so funny, about writing. People always go, well, I want to write a book. What do I do first? Start writing.
Right.
It's not that hard. Start putting something down on paper or
That's
record
right.
on your phone or something. Or go do some research or
Yeah.
interview somebody or talk to somebody. But
Yeah.
it's just taking that action for sure. Well, I think we've got a little bit of video here that we put together, a little slideshow or something. We're going to take a look at that, and then we'll come back and kind of wrap up. Like you say, I wish we had more time. 30 minutes isn't long enough, but
It
we'll
goes
have
by
you
quick.
come back as you later on, and you can, as you're moving toward that ride and wear world. I think that's a fabulous concept, and I'm going to be praying for that to come around sooner rather than later.
That's right.
Okay,
Awesome.
that's so fun. So that's good. So that's great. So that just shows you, a little bit of what's going on. But if you've got a dream or you've got a vision for something, you can carry that out. You just have to, you have to think about what you want to do, and then you got to go, move forward on it somehow. And that's what Terry did. He had this vision for this, and he created his logo and he created his first product, and then he just grew from there. So he just keeps growing and keeps growing. If you had maybe one or two pieces of advice, Terry, that you'd give to somebody that might be starting out on their entrepreneurial journey, what would you tell them, people that are listening?
Just to believe in what you see. Believe in what you see, and put one foot in front of the other and keep moving. I believe that the more people it's the
Right.
better. It's like
Yeah, keep connected.
God blesses through people.
Right. I think so
And your
too.
blessing is the next person away. And it may not be money, it could just be wisdom, or some
Yeah.
type of guidance, or something simple like that.
Right.
You just gotta keep moving and believe in what you see and just do it. Nike couldn't have had the perfect. Nike has the perfect logo.
That's
Just do it.
right.
The
That's
slogan,
it.
just do it.
Right. That's
Yeah.
it. Well, that's it. And I think you're absolutely right. And I appreciate those words of wisdom. So I hope that if you're watching or you're listening, if you're listening to this podcast or you're coming back and watching the recording, some good tips here. So take that into consideration. Think about what you want to do. Try to put some things in place. Like you say, obviously, money is always a thing. You got to be willing to invest in your business. I'm always astonished, when people think they can write and do everything for free. It's a business like any other business. And there's a lot of things, like you say, that you can learn yourself to do. But, there are also some things that you probably shouldn't be doing
Right.
unless you have the skill. If you're a designer, an illustrator, you can do that, well, design your cover. But if you're not, you probably need to hire somebody that can do that better than you. If English, you're not very good at English, then you probably need an editor. Doesn't
Right.
mean you can't record the story. And today, you don't even have to write. You can record on your phone. I mean, you can just take an audio and be in the car and just talking to your phone and record that, and then transcribe that or have that transcribed. So
Right.
there's all kinds of ways to get around the obstacles, and you just got to keep on keeping on and have that faith that things will be that things will turn out right and all of that kind of stuff. So so I guess once you think you're going to do your store there in Oregon or in that area, or you got to
Yeah,
look to
I plan to start here,
yeah.
because it fits, there's as far as writing is concerned, it's all here.
Right, you've got it
On
all
whatever
because
you write, it's all here,
you got the
and
ocean not too far away, you got mountains not too far away, and
it's all here. This is a writing place. I think I landed in a good place, and I
uh-huh,
believe that it's I've been in this store for a year and a half, going on to about a year and a half, year and 8 months, and
uh-huh,
it's going well. And
uh-huh.
I see it. I believe in what I see, and I'm gonna keep moving. And,
Right,
and the
right. You
main
see,
the main goal is that when you're going into business, yeah, we need money like we need the air to breathe. But what are you changing? What are you trying to change in
right.
life? The world's been changing for centuries.
Yeah,
It's always evolving into something new. What are you gonna do to change to make this
yeah.
place a better place?
Make it
To,
better.
to live in.
Yeah,
So I'm all about change.
yeah.
And I'm moving for change. And my goals is change, and to be a part
Like
of the world doing that.
right, right.
That's
And
my
that's
next
it,
goal.
and we've got to have thought leaders and people that have that ability, that vision, and that ability to bring people together. Because it's so astonishing to me. I mean, Terry, because we've been friends a long time, that why people can't get along. I
Right.
mean, we can agree to disagree. We don't have to agree on everything,
Right.
but we have a lot more in common than we don't have in common.
Right.
Like you say, we want to live in a nice place. We want to be healthy. We want to have safe. We want our kids to be safe. We want them to grow up and do well and meet somebody and, fall in love or whatever. And us the same. We want to have a good relationship, or we want to have something interesting to wake up for every day when we wake
Right.
up in the morning. And I think you do. You wake up every day and you're glad to get up and go, aren't you?
Man, this is my second home. I'm here 7 days a week.
I know it.
10,
Yeah,
11, 12 hour days. Just because this is what I love.
right. That's it. So, well, we appreciate y'all watching and listening. I'm going to tell you again, it's rideemwear.com. You can follow Terry on Facebook, on Instagram, on any of those platforms, probably social media platforms. Same thing. It's going to be at Rideemwear, RIDEEMWEAR. So / on Facebook.com / if it's LinkedIn, if it's Instagram, whatever you're on, you're probably going to find Terry there. And if you can't, you can just Google Rideemwear, and all his stuff is going to come up. And he's got some interesting videos, about the store, and we'll tag the links to those in the show notes, Terry, and as well as how people can get in touch with you and stuff. And so if you live out there in Oregon or California or Washington, when you're driving through, stop in and see Terry at Rideemwear. And then I'm gonna let you finish up here with your tagline and what everybody always says to you all the time.
Don't climb in the saddle if you're not ready for the ride. Ride
That's
'em.
Right on. All right. Well, thanks, Terry, so much. I appreciate you being here and joining us and telling them about what you're doing. And I wish you all the success in the world, of course. And then as you get down the road, we'll have you come back and tell us some more about that and show us that backyard and some of those other things for sure. And then we're here every Thursday at 5 p.m. and we're talking about those rarely and untold stories of multicultural contributions to the American Wild West. We try to maybe bring in some of the historical characters from the 1800s and tell their stories. And you're going to find their stories in our articles. It's a part of our newsletter at wildwestdiversity.com. Always subscribe. You can go and find our archived recordings. This is episode 29. And so we have 28 other episodes that you can go back and watch on YouTube. And so we hope you'll do that. We hope you'll subscribe. And if you like what you're seeing, please tell your friends and family about us. And we'll see you next week. Thanks so much. Thanks, Terry.
Thank you.
Hello, this is Liz Lawless, your host for Wild West Diversity, where we tell the rarely and untold stories of multicultural contributions to the settling of the American Wild West. Each Thursday at 5 p.m. Central Standard Time, we'll be sharing a historical legend and a living legend. Someone from history and someone living that Western lifestyle today, keeping it alive for the future generation. We hope you'll join us on Thursday. If not, we'll see you on the trail.